Good morning. It's 𝐿𝐚𝐯 finally live in 2024. Today, it's all about your voice as usual. So have you ever been accused, for example, of sounding too loud or brash? Maybe you've got a voice naturally that's a bit booming and maybe too loud and abrasive. So many people complain of this issue. So today I'm going to take you through 3 clear steps with multiple steps in between on how to speak more elegantly and clearly in English for business. I'll see you in a sec. And welcome back to 2024. This is our very first live of the year. And as usual from last year's schedule, we'll be going live every single Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time, AEDT. So if you're in Sydney, you'll see this live at 8:30 a.m. If you're in the US, you will probably be seeing this on Friday night, or for my UK clients in Friday night and Friday afternoon as well. So welcome back. I'd love to know if you can see and hear me because I haven't used this microphone and set up for a while. So please just pop in the chat whether you can hear me okay and everything's working, because then we can dive into the training. Now, today it's all about voice, and it's this reason. When people come to me, especially as ESL clients, they have these patterns of speech that come from their culture and their background, their language. So we've got to understand that when we're speaking in a different language or from a different culture, we have different resonant spaces that make sound. For example, an American sound or a Canadian sound will be very forward, a little bit smaller with less airflow. That's why it sounds very strong and very resonant. And some people from other cultures might call that annoying because it's loud, and it can be quite loud and abrasive at times. Now, Americans, I love the American accent personally because it's very focused and it's very pointy. I like to call it pointy, but that's not always beautiful. And today we're looking at how to speak more softly and elegantly in English. So there's 3 steps that I want to take you through. You'll see these very quickly, and we're going to go through all of these one by one. Now, if you want to learn something specific around these topics or points, all you have to do is pop it in the chat and I will see it across every platform, because I'm going live on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, The Voice of Confidence TV. I'm also going live on LinkedIn and also in Facebook. So I look forward to finding out where you're watching from now, or whether you're watching this as a replay. So when you watch this as a replay, just put #replay. Now let's dive straight into the training. The very first thing that we need to know around voice is the combination of the secret things that we mix together like a recipe to make a cake. And the cake, of course, is our balanced voice sound. Now, there's a few little tips and tricks that I want to share with you today, but the most important thing is the secret, knowing how the combination has to work. It has to be a combination of the sounds that you're making, plus your presence in the room and vocal patterns. If you get one right, but not the others, it's going to be very difficult for you to sound soft and elegant. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because one of my clients years and years ago, when she first came to me, she said to me, she was complaining on the phone saying, 𝐿𝐴, people think that I'm a bitch on wheels. And I listened to the sound of her voice and I listened to her speak and I thought, ooh, I can understand why. The reason why is because she was abrasive. She had a very low, forced and pushy tone that was very abrasive, is the best way to describe it. Now, she wasn't, in essence, a bitch on wheels at all. She was actually a really lovely, very successful businesswoman. But the problem is the perception was holding her back in her career. Because when she spoke, That's what people just assumed. Now, I made the very wrong assumption about one of my most famous and successful clients a few years ago, too, when I first heard him speak, because it was, again, low, pushed, abrasive, forced, very loud and gregarious. I just presumed he was an a-hole, you know? But he wasn't. He absolutely wasn't. He became a very good friend and a client of mine for over 7 years. Now, this gentleman speaks all over the world and is a very, very famous public speaker. I won't reveal his name, but he did a lot of work with me to improve the sound of his voice and be able to carry without pushing, squeezing, and forcing. Because here's the thing, when we push, squeeze, and force, it's never going to work. It's never going to sound good. So I want to teach you today how to relax your throat a little bit more so you can get that more open, relaxed sound instead of an abrasive, pushy sound at the wrong pitch as well, which is a huge thing. So let's go into sound, presence, and vocal patterns. Step number 1 is a relaxed throat. If you imagine that you're choking yourself for a second, so put your hands around your throat. And I just want you to imagine that you're squeezing your throat muscles together. I want you to tell me what happens. Do you notice that you're holding your breath? The tension in your throat muscles is stopping the breath from coming through, which stops the vocal folds from making a beautiful vibration. This is one of the biggest problems that I see with all of my clients. Now, I want you to do a similar thing and you'll find a similar result. Put your hand on your tummy muscle and imagine that you're going to do an ab crunch, like just do a sit up, right? But you're tensing and squeezing your abs to engage them to do that sit up and that ab crunch. Ready? You'll notice when we do that again, when we're tensing up that tummy muscle, the breath stops again. These are the 2 biggest factors. So when we have a closed gate, as I call it up here, excuse me, or a tight tummy, you're going to have a limited airflow coming through the voice and it's going to sound a little bit different. Croaky, tight, small. So we don't want to sound like that. We want to open the throat, not close the throat. So let's do that exercise together for a second. Hold your hands like this, and this is going to be our throat muscles. We're going to close the throat like that and speak for a second. See, it doesn't feel very good, and it certainly doesn't sound very good. Now we're going to open the throat and see how that sounds. Very, very different. Now, it takes a little while to really get the hang of this. I learned all these things when I was a singer years and years ago. My very first experience of singing was learning with an opera teacher. And she was larger than life and had this beautiful, open, resonance, amazing sound. So I used to mimic her all the time with my open throat and practicing, speaking like her. Oh my goodness, you're so funny, Lisa, she used to say to me. So when we understand how the muscles work, we can change them at will, just like a singer or an actor does. So a relaxed throat is number 1. Now, I'm going to just jump to the comments to see if anyone has any questions. Good morning. Oh, it's nice to see you, Milo. It's been a long time. Yes, I know. We had a massive, crazy Christmas with cyclones and flooding and no electricity. And it was not our ideal Christmas, but it's lovely to see you here. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so step 1 is a relaxed throat. When you understand that this can cave in or open up, you have more control over your sound, which is beautiful. Let's do an open throat exercise before we move on. Open throat, we're going to do a sigh all the way down the scale. Ah. Now, all you want to hear is a relaxed tone with airflow coming through. And we're not using any support. We're just trying to relax the airflow in through the sound of the vocal folds. When I see people, teach people who have chronic throat tension, that sound instead of a sigh sounds like this. Ah. Like they're being strangled. That's purely because they're not allowing airflow through. It feels weird at first if you're used to squeezing, but try it with me. Open throat. Ah. One more time. Ah. Now, when you get it right, it feels like a sigh. It sounds like a sigh. It's effortless. It doesn't cost you any energy whatsoever, just some thought, because you have to allow that airflow to come through. That is the most important thing that we're talking about here, to have a relaxed and elegant voice. You can be as clear as you want. You can add as little or as much airflow as you want. That's completely up to you. But airflow balanced is very important. So let me tell you about what a balanced airflow is. If I was whispering, "Hi, my name is Elisa James." I had a student like that once. And no matter how much I taught her, she would not increase the volume or close the vocal folds. She sounded like she was whispering all the time and telling you a secret. That's not balanced airflow. It takes a lot of effort to blow a lot of air through stiff vocal folds to whisper. It's not good for your voice. Too much airflow causes dryness and fatigue. You want to be very careful about too much airflow. And remember, too little airflow is like this. Sorry, when I use a lot of vibration, I get it right in the front of my face and it itches my nose. And so it should. It should itch all around here if you've got vibration. But right now, I'm actually speaking from my throat and my nose, and I don't have that vibration. It feels like it's stuck here. That's too little airflow. So what we're talking about here is balanced airflow. I call it my Goldilocks airflow. It's not too much air. It's not too little air. It's just right. That's what we want. Goldilocks airflow. Write that down. Now, the third part is pitch. And this is all step one. I know I said 5. I think 5 tips up there, but I think we've got about 8. So I'm over delivering today. So hopefully you're enjoying this and getting some value out of this. Good pitch. Now, good pitch. What is good pitch? Again, it's like Goldilocks airflow, the pitch that's right for you, that's just right. If I spoke in a really low pitch, that's fine. I can still do it, but it doesn't feel good for me. It feels like it's too low in my body, low in my chest, and low in my throat. And it's harder to produce the sound when it's too low because my voice box is in a low position forcibly. I'm moving it down on purpose. I can, however, do a higher pitch. "Hi, my name is Elisa. How are you today? Have you ever seen some characters on TV that sort of sound like that? They have that really little voice that's very high pitched and very forward. Now, if I took away the resonance and still kept it really high, that would just sound like a little girl." So you see, having the right pitch may disempower you. It may undermine your authority. If you're a woman in business, for example, and you have a high pitch, that's going to be very, very hard for people to get over that. They can, but it's going to be a lot easier if you adjust the way that you speak so it's palatable for the task at hand, for the situation at hand. I remember reading a story about Maggie Thatcher, Dame Maggie Thatcher, who was Prime Minister of England for a while. She had such a high-pitched, airy and annoying girly voice. They called her like a fishwife or something. Really, really horrible things. In the media, when she was running for president or running for office, that's what she was called. Now, she had to go to voice training for quite a few years to lower her pitch, stabilize her tone, and balance that resonance and airflow. When she did, guess what? She became a brilliant speaker and a great politician. She was taken very, very seriously in the way she spoke after she changed the sound of her voice. This is why my very first course I ever wrote is called Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. Because it does. When we change the way that we sound, our habitual sound, not our natural sound, when we start to learn about voice skills, things can change. Now let's move on. We've just talked about 3 things: relaxed throat, balanced airflow, and good pitch. Now let's move on. Step 2, presence. Confident posture. When you have a confident posture, you are sitting upright or standing upright. You don't slouch like this. Have you ever seen a beautiful model or superstar cave their chest in and sort of slouch? It's almost like they're afraid of being seen. They're afraid of opening their chest or showing their boobs. They're afraid of that open stance. It can be very nerve-wracking for some people to open their chest. If you sit up straight right now and put your hand on your sternum and then raise your chest just by 1 more centimeter, you'll see how confident and open you feel. It's very different. It feels very different to this. This feels very protected. And I can't breathe properly either. But when your chest is open, my stomach is relaxed. I have a much more open posture. So that confident posture or alignment, it's really called, because we want our 6 points of balance to really inform the way that we move around space. We don't want to be static like this. We want to be relaxed, right? But in a good alignment. So when we're fully aligned and we're standing upright, we have an air of confidence. Your confidence will be seen and felt the second that you walk in that room. Remember, the first impression, a lot of the time, is actually made non-verbal. So the impression that you can make that first impression in 15 seconds non-verbally by just the way that you dress and carry yourself and walk into the room. Okay, so keep that in mind. Calm and control of your nervous system. Now, this is very important for a lot of my clients. Our nervous system is the thing that sets us off. When our nervous system is set off, our speech will change. A lot of the time I found from my clients who come to me for public speaking nerves, they find that when they're getting ready to speak, all these sorts of things will happen. Their brain will freeze, their tummy will tighten, their throat will tighten up. They get really nervous about the thought of doing the presentation or the pitch. Now, if we can stay completely calm and grounded with our nervous system, if we learn how to regulate our nervous system, then you can stay calm and confident in every situation. You see, it's the nerves that do you in. It's not that you're like a terrible speaker. It's not that you're a terrible singer. It's just that your nerves have kicked in and your body can't do what you want it to do. Because when we're in fight or flight, your brain stops. Like literally, it literally just stops, because what's happened is you've checked out. You're over here somewhere going, oh, it's not very safe to come back here, so I'm going to wait over there. That's what happens. So we don't want to do that. We want to stay in our body. We want to wriggle our toes, feel the chair underneath our butt muscles. You want to calm down that regulation, that nervous system regulation. Now, one of the best ways to do that is with breathing exercises, which I do in all of my classes. And also, I've got a lot of tools and tricks that I use with my clients, learning how to manage their psychology and their belief systems. Because a lot of this was put in place when we were young. Now, we might have a trauma coach on the call today, so look out for JP, John Paul, if he comments below. He is a wonderful trauma coach, and if you have trauma stuck in your body, this is the place to go to get it fixed. I help people with that too, and the way that they make sound. So calm, confident posture, control of your nervous system. All of these things will help you look, feel, and sound confident and elegant. Now let's go to step 3, and then we have a special exercise together that I want to show you that's very important. That'll be like the icing on the cake. Step 3 is vocal patterns. Now, vocal patterns, this is something that you learn, of course, but they're all about social cues. When we have a social cue, it's almost like it's built into our system as human beings to know when somebody's saying something or wanting something. For example, if I ask you a question, you're going to know it's a question, and you're going to know that you're waiting for me. I'm waiting for you. No, you're waiting for me to respond. No, I'm waiting for you to respond. If I ask you a question, then that's my social cue that you're going to respond to my question. Do you understand the idea? That's a social cue. If I give you a social cue that I'm not yet done, I need to keep speaking until I'm ending my idea, and then I end my idea. That's also a social cue. So those patterns are very important to understand. What's our human social cues that tell the audience something that we want them to know? Yes, you have to respond. I'm asking you a question. Or no, you have to wait. I'm not finished yet. Now, those vocal patterns are going to be greatly influenced by step number 2, which is the calm control nervous system. If your nervous system is out of control, you're going to do a bunch of things that are not what I want you to do. You're going to ramble. You're going to mumble. You're going to speak too fast. You're going to connect all your sentences together and go la, 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 and try to get off the stage as fast as you can. Those vocal patterns are being influenced by your psychology. This is a huge problem. And this is why in Change Your Voice, Change Your Life, the course that I was talking about, the very first module is psychology. It has to be, because you have to figure out, why on earth am I being triggered by all this sort of stuff? Let's go over to the comments for a sec. Yay! Triumph over trauma. Get your life back. I love that. Exactly. So when there's trauma stuck in the body, unresolved trauma, we all have trauma. Most of us have been through something, but we don't even realize or recognize it as trauma sometimes. I didn't for a very long time. I had undiagnosed PTSD for 20 years. I had no idea what it was. I thought my body was just attacking me. It was ridiculous. My nervous system was going crazy. But when I found out that I was normal, because I'd gone through all these things in life, that this was sort of still in my body, I knew that I had to take steps to clear that out of my body and ground myself. Now, nobody's ever a finished product. We're not. We keep growing and learning until we die. That's what we have to do, because all you want to do in life is be a better version than you were yesterday. That's all we're going to focus on. Now, let's go back to the tips here. So, vocal patterns. When you're calm and confident, you can learn and apply vocal patterns that work. And the last couple are velvety smooth. Now, this is a really beautiful exercise. If you connect all the consonants and the vowels together in a sentence that's very smooth, you're going to sound more elegant. When my ESL speakers first come to me, they sort of chop everything up because they're trying to be articulate. That's not going to help you sound elegant, smooth, and confident. So we want to really connect the airflow from the vowels to the consonants. And a really great way to do that is to sing Amazing Grace. Just flow everything together, or speak like you're singing. That will have the same effect. The next one is clear articulation. If you want to be a leader in your own life and in business, then be clear when you speak. Don't hold back. Don't hold it inside. Project it outside. Use your articulation, your teeth, your tongue, your lips, your jaw. All of that will help you be clearly heard by the other people. And the last one is, this is an exercise I want to do with you, open and relaxed vowels. If you keep your mouth shut like that, and then I start to speak in more of an Australian accent, you'll notice that goes into my nose and into my throat because I'm not opening my mouth. When you simply open your mouth and let more air through, you'll get more of a velvety sound. So let's try this exercise together. Just finish up. I round my vowels for beautiful sound. I round my vowels for beautiful sound. When you open and let the air flow through, I call it relaxed vowels, with the right airflow, your voice will sound much more relaxed. And that's what we're trying to achieve today. We're not trying to achieve projection and resonance and being stronger and bigger. We're trying to relax the voice so you can sound a little bit more soft and a little bit more elegant. So I hope you've got some value out of today. We talked about 3 things: the combination of sound, presence, and vocal habits. And we covered these 3 steps: step 1, step 2, and step 3. And when you apply all of that, you will start to develop that beautiful sound. Now, I have some help for those who need that little bit of extra help. I have a specific training that's called the free 4 video series, and it's all about voice skills, gaining your voice of confidence in a very authentic way. It's 4 free videos. It comes with MP3 downloads and also a workbook that's almost finished. So I'll be able to send that to you on Monday or Tuesday next week. And you can download that absolutely free right now. I'm going to make sure that we put that link that you can see on the screen below. We're going to put that link below all of the platforms where you're seeing this live. So I hope you've got some value out of today. I always check the comments on YouTube. So please go to YouTube if you're not there and leave a comment underneath this video and just tell me if you got some value out of today. If you did, that's wonderful. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you make sure that you know when I'm going live next time. Now, I'm just about to start shooting a brand new series for my YouTube channel. It's a long time coming, I know, but we're on track to do that starting next week. And then we have a live every single Friday. There's always somewhere where you can get help, and I'm here to help. I'm Elisa James, holistic voice coach. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Bye.